So Bill Priemer, you better wait because I got to, well, you guys gave me like a long bio here. I've highlighted just the key points.
Introduce myself.
No, I'll introduce you. I'll do it properly. So Bill, as you can tell, him and I are old friends. We've known each other a long time. Bill is the president and chief executive officer of Highland Software. So Highland Software, if you've been living under a rock, is the makers of OnBase, which is the main product we carry software-wise. You've had many roles there, Bill. Vice President of Sales and Marketing, used to be Chief Operating Officer, couldn't hold down any of those jobs, and was promoted to CEO in January of 2013. You may remember AJ Highland was the CEO before Bill, and he was actually at this event a couple times, and so Bill is childhood friends with the Highland brothers, so been in the family a long time. He's focused most of his career on client and partner-facing initiatives, so he has a lot of experience working with customers. Great guy to know if you have an idea, if you have an issue, if you just want to talk to someone. A great guy. He's like me. He's very open to conversations and loves to hear from customers. He has you're smart too. He has a master's degree in marketing from Northwestern University. Ooh, it's a tough school. He has an undergraduate degree from Boston College. Nice. There's more.
I went to St. Ignatius High School in Cleveland.
St. Ignatius High School.
Changed to grade school, Bulldog.
He lives in Ohio, but some of these Ohio people are okay. He lives in the Cleveland area. And he encourages, like I just said, for you to contact him directly. He loves to hear from you. So without further ado, my good friend, Bill Priemer.
Good morning, everyone. Very nice to be with you. Some of you I met last year at this event in Grand Rapids. I've been to some previous events. If we haven't met yet, hopefully we'll get a chance to do so today. Most of you are using our product OnBase. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for your business. I hope it's working well for you. I hope you're deriving all of the benefits and everything that you expected to get out of the system. If you're not, I would certainly like to hear that. If you are, you should know that we are not resting. So we are a company and a product that is continually evolving, continually modernizing. We hope to be working with you 10 years from now with systems that are very different than what you are using today, the use of which we hope will be very much expanded throughout your organizations and agencies. We see ourselves very much shoulder to shoulder with you and your mission of serving your constituencies and transforming government. In terms of our relationship with ImageSoft, we and I just couldn't be more pleased with it. It's 13 or 14 years that we've been working together. The ImageSoft organization, their people know the OnBase product as well, in some cases probably better than the people of Highland Software do. Just absolute experts at designing and implementing and supporting the systems that you are leveraging. They hold our feet to the fire. They advocate very strongly for you, their customers, whether it's enhancements to the software, whether it's evolution of our programs or our support policies. You should know they're very much in your corner, but they're in our corner as well, and that's what strong partnerships are all about. So my mission here today, give you a little bit of update on what's going on with the company, what's going on with the product, and how our government solutions are evolving. So we remain a company exclusively focused on enterprise content management. This is what we live, and this is what we breathe. This is what we've always done since the founding of the company in 1991. We are a recognized leader in the space. We're outpacing the growth of the market. The market itself is growing about 9 or 10% per year, and we're more in like the 18% year over year range. So gaining share. If you know us, you know we're a values-based culture. We believe people buy from people, and so this is a relationship business, even though it's a technology business. We're very proud, and it's Scott had mentioned this as well, of this remarkably engaged community of on-base professionals, which includes the 1,700 people of Highland Software, but is also the 3,000 members of our partner network, about 300 organizations like ImageSoft. Not many as good as ImageSoft, but about 300 organizations out there globally that are representing our product. And then 12,000 customers, and people within those customers that are as passionate about this technology and what it can do as we are, and really consider their knowledge and use of OnBase to be among their most important professional core competencies. One of our leadership credentials, you might know of the Gartner Group. They're really the leading and most well-respected IT analyst firm, and they consider us a leader among all the ECM vendors, and we're ranked up there with some other formidable technology companies, IBM and Microsoft and Oracle and EMC. We do a couple of things that they don't do. I think first and foremost, all we do is enterprise content management. And so that singularity of focus drives a lot of things, especially product development. So we're innovating our product at a pace that those organizations just aren't. You see a major release of our product every year. This summer it's going to be OnBase. It's going to be OnBase 14. We have a session where we're talking about the highlights that are in that very important release. The second thing that we do is focus on very much on how our customers are using that software. So we started off in the banking space and migrated to other markets, and now the public sector is very important to us. And as I'll speak today, that focus on the actual application of the tool drives a lot of development and drives a lot of our partner and customer collaboration. Our organization, we're based just down the road out in a western suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. About 1,300 of our 1,700 people are there. We hired maybe 135-ish last year. We'll hire 150 this year, so we're still growing as an organization. We're adding them not only in Westlake, but in offices around the world. We're in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and London, and Tokyo, and South Africa, and Australia. So one of the great challenges for our company, one of the great opportunities is the globalization of our company. Probably 60% of the market for this kind of technology is outside of the United States, but outside of the U.S. is only about 20% of our business. Aggressively hiring across the company, but especially in the R&D function. We'll take 15% of our revenues every year and devote them to the R&D function. This year it'll be about $50 million investment just in the OnBase product line. We're pretty proud of our company culture, and I know you're proud of your organizational cultures as well. You know, we were named earlier this year, to the Fortune 100 list of best companies to work for. This is not in the technology space. This is just any company. So Google was number one on the list, and Starbucks was on there, and Nordstrom's, and Zappos, and that was some pretty cool companies. It was mostly based on surveys, sort of anonymous surveys that were done against the employee population. So I was really proud of it, or at least I was proud of it until I got a note from one of our employees that was like, gee, congratulations, Bill. Maybe next year we could outrank the Cheesecake Factory, because they were like one rung above us. Apparently a good company to work for. But anyway, the point is, we're trying to be an organization that attracts and retains and grooms the highest quality people that we can find, because as we all know, these outstanding professionals are what is going to produce great product and great services and great support. And drive this kind of customer growth. So in the case of our business, we added 600 new clients last year. The kinds of solutions we get involved in are growing as our stature as an enterprise class vendor increases. So that brings our lifetime total to almost 13,000 customers. Last year, 2,300 of those customers expanded their solutions in some significant way by adding clients and modules. Every year, half our software sales are sold to new customers, but half our software revenue comes from sales to our existing customers who are clearly finding, great utility in our software and want to expand the footprint in their organizations. We're very proud of that. So our customer retention is 98%. We measure that by maintenance renewals and subscription renewals for customers that are using our software as a service, our cloud-based offering. And very proud of the fact that 2,500 organizations have been customers with us for over 10 years. And like I started with, those organizations have evolved greatly from when we initially implemented them. Like Scott's organization, we are not, we don't sell exclusively into the public sector. It's at a very important segment for us. We actually started in the banking space. Healthcare, actually in the last couple of years, has been our largest revenue source, with this really massive push in the U.S. especially to drive to the electronic health record. So that kind of stands to reason. But our product is an ideal fit, we feel, for state and local government, because your organizations need all of that enterprise class functionality and performance and scalability and security. So those other guys that I mentioned that you'd also consider like enterprise class players, but the difference with us, because we're designed to be configurable and upgradable and rapidly deployable, that cost of implementation and ownership is just far less, far more cost effective than those organizations. So while IBM is going to be good for very large commercial organizations, for our friends in government, the budgets aren't going to support that. You need a more cost-effective solution, and it's really an ideal marketplace for the on-base solution. A little bit about our product line and where it's going. We like to say on-base is where your information finds you, and this is what we aspire to be. First of all, we aspire to have information enter our system without any manual intervention whatsoever. The technology is there. So whether a document is scanned in using a Canon device, or whether it comes in as a PDF or some XML or print stream, we have the technology right now to identify what that document is, and based on what that document is, extract the relevant metadata off of that, index that document automatically, take some of that information and post it to a third-party ERP system or enrollment system or case management system without any manual intervention whatsoever. A lot of your organizations are using pieces and parts of this technology, but eventually where we want to go is the capture process doesn't require people at all. It's still a too burdensome part of the document lifecycle today. Secondly, that all the information is going to be, will find you when you need it. So again, our system knows, or should know, who you are, what your responsibilities are, what your job responsibilities are, what you're working on, because we know what you're doing in that third-party application, the case that you're working on, the matter that you're working on. Perhaps we're interrogating your correspondence, so we know what you're working on, and based on what you're working on, we can present to you, should be able to present to you, all of the documents and the information that you need to make that decision and to drive that process forward. So in some cases, with our workflow and case management solutions, we are approaching this point where a user does not have to seek or interrogate the document management system to find what they need. The information is presented to them. We also aspire that information will flow seamlessly among organizations. So today, depending on sort of where we are with our rollout of this technology, we may have done a pretty good job at moving our operations internal to our organization to a paperless environment, and we've got a lot of our mission-critical processes that are driven, largely automated or at least streamlined by our workflows. But where the inefficiencies usually come into play then is when you have to share that information with another organization. So when you have to share information between counties, or you have to share information, a county agency to its local government counterparts, or to its state-based government counterpart, that is when documents usually end up, even today, getting printed or emailed, and then we lose track of the system, of the information. We lose visibility. we lose custody of the information. There's all kinds of information because then they, on their side, have to capture and ingest and identify and start to manage the documents. So, with OnBase, especially with our presence in the public sector, when we have OnBase systems at all of these levels of government, sort of to pave the way and provide the utility for a seamless exchange of this information among disparate organizations' systems. I mean, that's the vision that we have. And then OnBase as a product continuing to grow from managing the content to managing the work. The label that they put on this technology is enterprise content management. So we often talk about document management and digitization. That's still a challenge and a work in progress for many of our organizations. But when Scott talks about ImageSoft solutions, he talks about them as workflow solutions. So whether it's workflow that's managing the linear processes or our work views case management solutions that are more tuned to managing ad hoc collaborative processes, we see OnBase as a tool where the work is managed, not just the documents. And there's much more power and, frankly, return on the investment in managing the work. So our core product capabilities, and you probably know this, and we're advancing the product in all these areas, are in capture, getting the documents in and managing them, in managing the processes, in enabling access. Enabling access over the last couple of years is really interesting with the proliferation of mobile devices. It's not only supporting those operating systems, but a completely different amount of real estate to work with. We got so spoiled designing software for users that were sitting at workstations with lots of CPU power, with 2 huge monitors sitting on their desks. Now we're having to deal with the reality of iPads and smartphones, and it's really, an exciting time for us, but very much a challenge to present information in a very efficient and usable way in that format. We're all about integration, as you know. None of our customers really want to access their document management system in isolation. It's in conjunction with a process that they are working in that's largely driven by a third-party application. Measuring and then storing to us long-term archive, but also managing the disposition of those documents according to your records management policies. And with the media now that we are storing our documents on, managing the disposition of documents is very much a possibility. Our current product priorities, and again, we have a session on OnBase 14 specifically. Internationalization, as I mentioned, is a key growth driver for us, and one of the big architectural, to many of the folks in this room, it might not make a difference unless you need to support multiple languages, but the port over to the Unity framework, which allows us to accommodate multiple languages, also time zones and currencies and date formats in a single database instance. For our global customers, really on the commercial side, like an Amazon or a BMW or a Coca-Cola, this is extremely important. So it's a major architectural step forward for us. Mobile support, we have engineered a new middleware layer that we can support all of our mobile frameworks with. And this is going to accelerate our development across mobile devices and also allow for a more consistent user experience across the Windows devices and the Android devices and the Apple devices. And we're still supporting some BlackBerry out there. But come to the OnBase 14 session to hear more about what we're doing with application integration with our case management product, and with a very exciting new module that we're referring to as our analytics dashboard, which is a more powerful and dynamic reporting capability against what's going on in the OnBase system and the process that OnBase is governing, with also the ability to interrogate a third-party database and append OnBase-related information with maybe some third-party information in the data warehouse, demographic information, whatever that might be. All of these enhancements in OnBase being governed by a development philosophy and a set of really architectural principles. On one hand, we're an enterprise class software package, so we need to be supplying all of the features and the functions of vast set, very high performance, really no limit on the number of documents anymore that you can store in a non-based system. Billions and billions of documents can be stored in a non-based system, tens of thousands, really hundreds of thousands of users. Security has really become we're paying a lot of attention to it. It used to be a time when when in the enterprise application space, you could be relatively assured that if the firewall protections were set up correctly, nothing bad was going to hit your application. We're a couple years past that. We kind of assume that stuff's getting through the firewall and can interrogate our application directly. So that means encrypting the database, encrypting the documents themselves. It's got some overhead associated with that, but it's very important. So there are now security experts embedded into every one of our major development teams to address the area of security. But then as we develop our architectures and our enterprise capabilities, making sure that everything that we do in OnBase is still point-and-click configurable, which leads to that rapidly deployable nature of our product, that it's upgradable, and that, for those customers that want to take advantage of it, the option of a cloud-based deployment. We've actually been in the cloud business before they were calling it the cloud for 10 years now, back when we were called an application service provider and then software as a service. But we run a global private cloud that we've got 600 clients on. And then we really feel that this is all rounded out by the industry's best training and support and that community of OnBase professionals that, as Scott mentions, all the training and best practices don't come from us, they come from each other in these forums like this and the community website and our vertical user groups where customers are brought together to share. I'll just say that we're very proud of the work that we're doing with you in the government sector. This is very important work. This is, and it's funny. It's funny, and everyone's got a lot of our customers have got pictures like this, the before and after pictures. This is what our, operation used to look like, and it's used in presentations like this. Unfortunately, this is a picture that was taken recently in the Veterans Administration Claims Processing Center, right? So that's an organization that's been in the news a lot. This is where they approve coverage, they adjudicate claims. There's a backlog of 272 days, average wait time to approve a claim in the VA. There's a backlog of 900,000 claims to be approved. And, I don't know what to believe in the news, but there are clearly veterans that aren't getting care and some that maybe were dying because they weren't getting care. Absolutely tragic. And as I say, it's funny if it wasn't so serious. And so somebody in the same building took their phone and one of those leveling applications and showed how the floor in the VA was buckling because of the weight of the documents. And then one of my colleagues was mentioning, what we could do, we could digitize everything in that facility and make it available on that phone that's being used as a joke, right? This is, right? So, not that ECM is going to solve all of the VA's problems, but we're probably pretty clearly part of the potential solution. And so it's no wonder that when the Governing Institute put out this survey in 2013 and said, is reducing paper important, 90% of about 150 state and local government leaders said, yes, absolutely it is. And of course, I'm talking to a room here that would absolutely believe this as well. But all of your peer organizations, and like Scott said, Michigan farther ahead than most states in the embrace of this kind of technology. These same respondents, when they were asked to say, well, the average time spent doing these paper-related activities, every day, this came out to 5 hours worth of time. Now, I kind of doubt maybe that it's 5 hours worth of time, but a day. But even if it was 5 hours a week, that's 12% of your work week spent in the paper chase. So when we're talking about trying to reduce costs and increase efficiency and better serve our constituents, I don't know if there is lower hanging fruit than this issue. Now, most of your organizations, you have, you're well beyond sort of the digitization level. So you've scanned and you've got, you're working with your information digitally and it's integrated with your core line of business applications. But, where are you on this Gartner ECM maturity scale in terms of your full leveraging of this kind of technology? Is it still siloed in departments, or are you sharing information among all departments in an agency and with your peer agencies and with your key contractors? Unlikely. Are you using that information to drive your processes with our workflow technology, thus approaching that level 5, or similar to what I talked about with our vision of our product? You're somewhere on this spectrum, to be sure. And I think the catalyst for really a lot of the organizations that aren't as far along as you, but even you that might be at level 2 or level 3 in your sort of maturity cycle, is to think about the documents and the files as the people that those documents represent, right? The people that are very dependent on the services that our government agencies are committed to providing. I think while there's great cost savings in these kinds of solutions that we provide, I think the more motivating benefit of what we do is better and faster and less error-prone constituent service. So just as an example of that, this is a Esri map of San Francisco, right? The Esri, the very popular geospatial mapping software, and here plotted on the map are AIDS and HIV infected individuals that the Public Health Agency in San Francisco is working with. We know where they are. We were able to plot them on the map because their enrollment documents had their address. We used that metadata in our integrations with Esri, which are the best on the planet, to plot their location on this map. And now we can see where all of these people are. We can overlay against that where our Ryan White program service delivery facilities are. And we can see, do our service delivery facilities match up to where our citizens that need our care are? No, actually it looks like in the western edge of San Francisco, we've got an opportunity to add one. Let's find a new service provider there. So an example of kind of taking the power of ECM to another level, let alone making all of this available to a field worker on their mobile device, such that when they are visiting a particular individual, they can not only know where they are, but then click on that dot on their map and pull up on their device all of the documentation that relates to that individual and the care and the services that are being provided to them. So as your governor said, right, it's not about sitting in a government office waiting for your customer to come to you. It's about going to the customer, serving them in their neighborhood, understanding their issues better, taking better care of them. So as we talk about the trends in government that we are very intent on supporting, clearly mobility is one. Our social services worker, building inspectors, law enforcement, whatever it might be, so that all the information they need is there with them. Certainly supporting all the shared services initiatives, whether that's the interlocal agreements that are being forged to supply court services or police services or senior services. If the idea is efficiency, it really cannot be efficiently done without the use of our kind of technology, let alone the visibility that all of the participating localities require into the system. Another kind of shared service would be that those back office administrative functions, HR, purchasing. You can't even think about centralizing those kinds of operations without a electronic document management system. And then the idea of making available infrastructure and enterprise applications like ECM as a shared service, and we have the willingness and the licensing and the architectural ability to make the on-base application also available as a shared service. So of our new solutions, and I won't get into detail on them, we've got case studies and collateral, and we've got some sessions on all of these that just address some of these trends that we are seeing in government that are, frankly, our government clients are asking us for. One is an assessor appeals process solution. We've got some material on that. We actually had a county in New York win an award from the National Association of Counties for their implementation of this, which really just used standard out-of-the-box functionality, electronic forms and workflows to let citizens appeal their property value assessment online, drive that through a process. They could go back to the portal to check on the status of their appeal, notification electronically of what the assessor's office decided, dramatically reducing the people involved in the process and also the time it took to generate a response. We're using our WorkView product to really roll out in a very accelerated fashion new case management solutions all the time. So we're here talking about, and we'd be happy to show you, love to demo for you, a public defender solution, medical examiner solution, contract management and fleet management solution. And then, although we've had this solution for a while now, our electronic plan reviewing drawings and plans, our acquisition of Syra, Salt Lake City-based company, about 2 years ago, really allowed us to put together what we believe now is a best-of-breed product out there. And this is very top of mind for a lot of our government customers that see it really as a key way to support the government's development initiatives, increase or accelerate the time to tax revenues, and really just better serve their populations. So with that, I will just leave you with these thoughts. That the vision for our company is to be the global leader in ECM. We're actually the second largest independent provider of what we do in the world today. We want to aim to have the best portfolio of products and solutions and services on the market. We want to offer not just document management solutions, not just process management solutions, but work management solutions, the most intuitive and innovative and best performing information management solutions on the planet. It's lofty goals, but that's what we intend on accomplishing. And we want to be widely recognized as not only a great place to work, but a great company to work with. And if all of that is predicated on us continuing to serve you very well to exceed your expectations. And to the extent that you have suggestions on how we can do that better for you, I would really encourage you to reach out to me. So here's my email, there's my phone number. Hopefully we'll get a chance to interact today. Again, thank you very much for your business and for your time, and I look forward to meeting with you later on today. Thank you very much.